go. Looks like everything's all good. Hey everyone, it's Steven from Toastamac. I know that usually I do these live streams on like Friday evenings, but like I had to actually had to finish up a wedding video that I recorded. I had to edit it down and have my mom help out with it. It was pretty complicated. So we're just going to give it a few minutes for people to get in here before we start the live stream, or I start talking about the topic of the live stream, which is my trip to Maryland. Hey Sharon Starkey, how's it going? So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes before I get started. A couple things. One is that you've probably seen this. It's my new comfy leather chair. And Mom actually helped out with purchasing this because it was her birthday gift to me. I actually built this from scratch, and thankfully it is so comfortable. My God. And I actually kind of needed something like this, to help with the lower back specifically. So this is a lot more comfortable than what I was using before. So I could probably show you. So this is what I was using before. It got the job done, but doesn't really help with the lower back that much. But this one does much better with the lower back. So that's one thing. The other thing is usually I give an update to the Mediterranean diet before we start talking about the subject, but I'm actually going to save it to the end this time because I actually learned something that is very important when it comes to diets, specifically when you're off the diet for a little bit. So, then I'm just going to take a quick drink. And then we'll get started. Oh, right. Before I forget, next Friday, noon to 2 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to have the birthday live stream. In case you missed the YouTube short I just did this morning. So, that's something to look forward to. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be the third special live stream of the year, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, watching The Wizard of Oz. Which one? Are you talking about the original one or like one of the remakes? Because I know there's like multiple versions of The Wizard of Oz, but I just stick with the original. The only other spin-off I like is when there was this computer game with the Rugrats doing The Wizard of Oz, but I think that was the only other exception. Oh, and Futurama, that's the other one. Okay. So, let's go ahead and get started. Yeah. All right, so, my trip to Maryland. Oh, good, the original. Yeah, that's a good one. So, here is the story of like my trip to Maryland. So, originally, this trip was due to an invitation we got by one of our friends in Maryland, Amanda Carter. And Amanda Carter is the person in charge of the organization CARIFAP over in Maryland that helps with providing services for special needs individuals. So, what this was an invitation for what she calls it, a baby extravaganza. And here, let me pull out the invitation. So we had this in the mail, and basically not only does this list when and where it's going to be, it's also about wearing jungle attire since it was going to be jungle themed, and this was like a baby shower and a housewarming all in one. The other thing about this was there was a list of gifts that Amanda and her, still exhausted from work, where Amanda and Fred, the person she's with now, they both had these lists on Amazon where people could buy things for them, whether it be like stuff for the baby or stuff for the house. And I gotta say, they have very expensive taste. I'll tell you that. Woof. So I bought like a few of the smaller stuff here and there, keeping my gift limit to like under $100. I mean, holy cow. but I did get some good things here and there that was already sent to the new house. So that was the original reason for going to Maryland. And I brought Mom along too because Amanda and Mom are really good friends also. So it was very important for both of us to go. So we got on a plane and got over to Maryland. Thankfully, nothing eventful happened, which is actually a good thing because I kid you not, it's like every other time Mom goes to an airport, she has a story to tell because something went wrong. Whether it be something to do with her luggage or maybe something to do with the flight getting moved somewhere. And there was one time where someone was having a medical emergency during the flight and the pilot was asking if there was like a medical expert on the plane. And Mom was like, ugh, okay, point me to the patient. So I was worried that it was going to be one of those instances where something's going to go wrong and we're going to laugh about it afterwards. But during the time, I was going to be like, ugh. But thankfully, it was uneventful. Nothing particular happened. And that's a good thing. So, we get to Maryland. And let me rewind a little bit. So, before we get to Maryland, we actually talked to some of our old friends, Jason and Jessica, who we've known ever since Boy Scouts. I was like, wow, over a decade ago easily, maybe more, maybe a decade and a half or 2 decades. So we actually got in touch with Jason and Jessica, and they actually wanted us to stay at their place rather than getting a room in a hotel, which was actually good. It was a lot more cheaper. We hanged out with our friends, and not to mention they got us good breakfast. So, not only that, but Jason and Jessica also have kids, and the kids were really looking forward to seeing Grandma. And in case you're wondering, no, I'm not referring to my grandma. I'm referring to my mom, who's also called Mom by Jason and the others. Like, the thing with Jason and so many of the friends we made in Maryland, the majority of them would refer to my mom as Mama. Even if they were not related, they would still refer to my mom as Mom. Because she's always been the one looking after all of us and making sure we weren't getting into too much trouble, or in some cases getting us out of said trouble. So, and then it would make sense, that Jason and Jessica's kids would call her Grandma, So, thankfully, they got us hooked up with that. And there was something else I wanted to do. And that involved my 2 best friends in the whole world, Billy and Sean. Now, back when we were growing up in the day, ever since high school, we were always the 3 amigos. It was just me, Billy, Sean, as like the main 3. We had several other friends that we liked to hang out with, but for a long time, over a decade, it was us 3. Us 3 always doing some mischief and like going around to places, working on all kinds of stuff, whether it be video projects or like playing video games and stuff like that. We were always doing stuff together, always enjoying each other's company, playing off each other's jokes, and like, it was really good. But what I noticed was, like, when I moved from Maryland to Colorado, it seems like the 2 friends, Billy and Sean, kind of fell out of touch. And it's not to say that anything bad happened. It's like nothing bad happened. It's just they haven't communicated with each other that much in a few years. So that became the other objective for this Maryland trip, to get the 3 amigos back together, get them talking again, get the 3 of us talking again. And we actually talked about like hopefully playing some video games again together at some point. So those were the 2 main things for Amanda's baby extravaganza and getting the 3 amigos back together. Those were the main things to focus on during the trip. Now, when we get to Maryland, we rent out the car, and mind you, we didn't get here till late at night. Like, it was like a little past, it was around midnight. And, what happens is Jason basically sent us a text like, call us when you get here. Mom sent a text. Not a call, a text. I'm very peculiar with these kind of things, and I will explain why in a bit. So, Mom and I get to BWI. We rent out a car. So, what happens next is, so we're driving from the airport, the rental car area, to Jason's home. Then what happens next is Mom is knocking on the door. Nothing. Knocked on the window. Nothing. Was calling the phone. Nothing. And we were worried that Jason had actually fallen asleep. Not like little sleep, more like big sleep. And I was actually, getting a little excited and anxious and also terrified because I was worried that instead of sleeping in Jason's house, that we were actually going to sleep in the car, which would not only be uncomfortable for me, especially with the muscle spasms episode that I had in the past, but the other thing would mean that I would have to sleep in close proximity to Mom snoring, which means I would not get any sleep, period. And she kept doing the calls and the knocking on the door again, and I was like, oh no. But eventually, about 15 minutes later, Jason wakes up. I was like, oh, sorry I fell asleep. Come on in. I was like, oh, thank God. So, we get inside, we start to settle in, and with both me and my mom in terms of our separate sleeping areas, what Jason and Jessica's kids did was they not only made our beds, I got an air mattress, not sure what Mom slept on, maybe it was one of their old rocking chairs she used to have. What they did was they made the bed and they left a personal note with a piece of candy on it saying, hi, we're really happy you're here. And this would happen every time we go back to the house after, a little adventure over the weekend. It's like every time we come back in the evening, there would be another note. Like for me, it says, happy birthday. Hope you're enjoying your time here. And then the last note's like, thank you so much for coming. We really enjoyed having you here. And it felt really special having that personalized touch to it, having those notes. And it was like, I told Jason and Jessica, as well as the kids, why don't hotels do this? Sure, they make the beds and make sure everything's all neat and tidy, but no personalized note, no saying, thank you for dropping by, we're happy to have you here. Why not? No notes on that? 0 out of 10. It was a really nice, touch. It made me feel right at home again after almost around 5 years of not being in Maryland, So it felt good to be back, So then we get up Saturday morning. Mom's making her special pancakes for everybody. And then what I see in the living room TV is a very old show from the 1990s. And I was like, these people look familiar. This almost reminds me of All That. And the kids actually said, yeah, this is All That. I was like, what? It was like, that's a good TV show. You got good taste. So, it felt really good for me personally to see, a future generation of children appreciating and laughing at something that was something that I grew up with, There was something I watched it a lot back in the 90s, and, these kids today are also watching it. It really felt special, I was actually watching an episode, too, where I was like, oh, and this is where they do this, and this is where they do that. Isn't this the episode where the old man explodes? Yep. So that was Saturday morning, and the plan was basically to hang out for the majority of the day at Arundel Mills. Now, for those who don't know what Arundel Mills is, think of it as a big shopping mall in Hanover, Maryland. It has Cinemark Theater, or like the Egyptian Theater. It has a Johnny Rockets restaurant. Um, a lot of the stores inside tend to change a lot. Because like someday, like one time there was like a Warhammer 40K store, and now it's like a Subway. And there's a lot more food places in there than I remember. So, getting back to the subject. So, the goal of heading towards Around the Mills was to get me, Billy, and Sean back together to hang out like the good old days. So we hang out. So we met up at the Egyptian Theater and started walking around the mall, seeing what happened, how much has changed, and I noticed two big things. One is they got rid of a lot of the colors around the mall. Like, back when I remembered it several years ago at Around the Mills, it was like the walls and the ceilings were more colorful, especially the food court. Like, when you were at the food court, there was this kind of artistic scenery above the fast food places, and it was like this train and railroad and this colorful background around it. But now it's gone more modern, and it's all black and white now. I don't even see the trains anymore. It felt kind of sad because, like, you know... Oh, hey, SM. That's Sean. Hey, Sean. There was always that much food stores. I mean, yes, there was. Well, okay, not as much as there is now. Like, SM, like, several years ago, there was not that many food stores in Arundel Mills. There were several of them, like Auntie Anne's, Cinnabon, but there were other ones like Haagen-Dazs and the Subway. Those were not there before. And, you know, pretty sure there was like one more food place that wasn't there. And, you know, like, there was a lot of places that changed, but I noticed the key food places in the food court didn't change that much. There was still Sbarro's, there was still Burger King, there was still Popeyes and stuff like that. Bon Universe is here too. Hey! My folks, this is our kids, were at Arundel Mills Olive Garden last Saturday too. How was the Olive Garden? Like, was the food really good? Was it bad? Did anything happen? You know? I mean, since you're here. So, yeah, it's kind of sad to see that. But the other thing that me, Billy, and Sean noticed is that anime took over Arundel Mills. I mean, you would see anime stuff almost everywhere. There's the little booths in the islands. Kiosks, I guess they call it. Little booths and kiosks throughout the mall that had anime stuff. There was FYE and Books A Million was selling anime stuff. In fact, I kid you not, there was an actual store entirely dedicated to anime. Like, so much so that the floors you walked on and the walls you would see were completely covered in manga pages. Like, it felt like you were literally stepping into a manga world. For those who don't know what manga is, think of it as a Japanese version of comic books. So, like, oh, that's good. Olive Garden's good. God, I haven't been to Olive Garden in a long time. Like, usually when it comes to, like, Italian food, I either, do pizza or ask mom to make lasagna. Those are always good. Haven't been to Olive Garden in a very long time. So, back to the anime store. I forgot what the name of the store was, but it was like everything anime. From like, cards and little necklace things. There was also like statues that run like hundreds and hundreds of bucks. And there was something else that was rather curious, if not cursed. Here, let me show you what I mean. So, apparently in Japan, this is a thing that's happening where they take these Pokemon and just like buff them like they're supermodels or something like that. Dear God! Like, I wasn't aware that this was a trend or a thing going on, but I kind of wish I didn't. Ugh. And like, I was showing Thomas, my younger brother, about this, and I was hoping that, he'd be scared or like, oh God, what is this? But he's like, perfect. I was like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? But like, it was like crazy walking through the anime store. Like, there were several things that I know people would want to buy, and there was stuff in there that I thought you could only buy online. And, it was amazing. I never saw a store like that. The only closest thing I ever got to seeing stuff like that is usually at anime conventions, not like an average everyday mall, So, it was definitely surprising. So after me, Billy, and Sean walked around a bit, we decided to head into Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's, that's another thing. That's another thing. So, here's a story on that. Back when me, Billy, and Sean were still in high school, maybe around college at some point, we actually wanted to go to Dave & Buster's and play. But what the issue was, I think it was because of the time we went in, or maybe that's how it was several years ago, there was an age limit where it's like, I think people under the age of 21 could not enter the Dave & Buster's at that time. There was actually an age limit, And what happened was, so me, Billy, and Sean just casually walk in. We played the arcade, play some games. We go out for some food and drinks. And when we tried to get back in, the security guard there was like, no, you can't come in. Like, what? What? Is it because of the drinks? No, you cannot come in. You're not old enough. And I was like, what? And that's when the security guy was telling us about the, that age restriction. And maybe it was a curfew, Sharon. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember too much. But, like, we were not supposed to go in there during that time because we were not old enough. And that's when me, Billy, and Sean realized we actually snuck in to a Dave & Buster's at the wrong time. We actually snuck past a security guard without even noticing. Thankfully, we didn't get into any trouble. Thankfully, the police did not have to get involved, so we were all good. No harm, no foul. So, thank God for that. But thankfully, nowadays, we don't have to worry about such a thing. So, we're all going to Dave & Buster's. And there was this Mario Kart game, which was a lot harder than playing the actual Mario Kart game. Because, like, with the Mario Kart games, you usually have to worry about, just holding down the A button, turning the control stick, pressing your item buttons. But with the Mario Kart over at the Dave & Buster's, it's a much different story. Get in there. Why is it? Sorry. Okay, we're good. So what happens is like with the Mario Kart in the Dave & Buster's, they actually have the wheel. They actually have the brake pads and acceleration pads, and there's a button on the side you have to press in order to use an item. So it was definitely a bit of a learning curve, but I got around it, got first place. I mean, nothing to brag about. But then we saw something that I never thought I would see in a Dave & Buster's. And there was an arcade game called, Halo Fireteam Raven, where 4 players could actually do like a split-screen co-op through this arcade mode. And it's like, I was so shocked. I never thought I'd be able to see that in Dave & Buster's of all places. I thought you had to go to like a very specific arcade in order to get to that. So I was like, okay, we got to get on this right away. So we were like hovering around, doing a couple other games, just waiting for it to open up, and it did. And, it was a lot of fun. A bit of a money guzzler, that's for sure. You definitely have to have a lot of credits for it. But, we were having a really good time, just playing through this game, and it kind of takes place around the same events of Halo 1 and all. So we did that for a little bit, but then Billy had to go. I think he had to go pick up his grandma from the airport. But after that, me and Sean just walked around the mall a few times, for the sake of exercise. And we get to Books-A-Million, hang out there for a bit, and then we all decided to meet up at TGI Fridays. And TGI Fridays was one of my favorite restaurants to go to back in the day. So it made sense to make that as the meetup. And let me see if I can add an image. Hold on. Because I want to show you something. A couple things. Maybe not. Yeah, not that one. Here we are. So, what I'm going to show you right here is an image of the group getting together. So, what we have right here is you have Nick Bowman on the far left. He was also from Boy Scouts. Yeah, Jason and Jessica. Jason is the guy on the left. Jessica is the ginger on the right. Naomi is the one on the far right. She's actually Nick's wife. And Nick and Naomi have that baby right there. I think his name is Leon. Yeah, his name's Leon. And then we have, on the far back, we have me on the left and my friend Sean on the right. Now, Billy wasn't in this shot because he and his girlfriend didn't show up yet. And, we were waiting for quite a bit to order our food. And, I told Sean, the next time Billy complains about me taking too long in the bathroom, I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember this, damn it. Telling me I'd take 20 or 30 minutes in the bathroom when in truth I only take 10. So, yeah, I'm going to remember this next time he says I take too long. So then we get to another shot when Billy actually shows up. I believe it's this one. There we go. Yeah. And then here we are. Look at that. Look at that. The three amigos together again. Me in the middle. Billy is on the right. Billy Bushel. There's Sean on the... No. Billy Bushel's on the left. Sorry. I mixed up left and right. Billy Bushel's on the left, and then on the right, towards the middle, is Sean Mahoney. The girl on the far left is one of Jason and Jessica's kids, and the girl to the left is actually Nicole, Billy's girlfriend. So, it was so nice to have the three amigos back together again, talking and stuff. But then something happens during the during our time at TGI Fridays. We were ordering our foods and listening to each other talk about the old days and talk about video games and stuff. Then Nicole turns to me and asks, "Why am I so quiet?" And that seems like a simple question, but it's when Nicole asked that question, something dawned on me. Back before I moved from Maryland to Colorado, me, Billy, and Sean would talk all the time. And I mean all the time. There were times I would call Billy late at midnight just for the sake of annoying him. And we were all good about it. And Billy, me and Sean would talk a lot during our time at UMBC. But it's a lot has happened in the few years, especially with the pandemic and the stuff at the workplace. And it's I never realized how much my social skills and socializing stuff had deteriorated until that point. Because we had conversations, we said some things here and there, but it's I wasn't talking as much as I did a few years ago. And it wasn't until Nicole asked why I was so quiet that it dawned on me holy crap, she's right. I haven't been talking as much as I used to. So I try to engage a little bit more with Billy and Sean, It's been a few years since we met. And it's something that, it's part of getting the three amigos together, and it's talking to them a bit more, playing some games like we were talking about, playing some Team Fortress 2 together. Just get the conversation going again, just talk with each other. So after that, and after we were like, starting to talk up again, then Mom pulls her usual stunt. Whenever we go to a restaurant to celebrate someone's birthday, she has to ask one of the waiters to sing happy birthday, or at the very least put a candle on like the cake and whatnot. But this time, Mom and Jason and Jessica did something clever. So what they did was, while me, Billy, and Sean were doing our own things on Around the Mills, they were at Around the Mills as well. They were actually getting me something without my knowing. And that is, I'm going to show it right now, this. There is a cookie place in Around the Mills called Miss Fields. And what the person working there actually did when the person heard about my birthday is that he actually told Miss Ellen, you know what, how long was you guys here for? And he mentioned that he could whip this up in like 20 minutes. So it's this giant cookie with frosting on top of it that says Happy Birthday, Steven. And it was a nice surprise, really. It was good. Easily the biggest cookie I've ever had. The frosting was a little too sweet, but that's a minor point. So, yeah, so you could probably imagine my reaction to having such a cake. Mine! Get your filthy hands off it, it's mine! It's mine. So, yeah. But, of course, I had to share because, still trying to watch my weight. But I think this kind of symbolized perfectly captures my reaction, getting to such a cake. And, there was one other thing that me, Billy, and Sean did at Around the Mills before we went to TGI Fridays. And before, and it was it was before Billy had to, I'm not sure it was like before or after Billy had to leave to go pick up Grandma. What happened was there was a Lego store inside there. And, we were looking at some stuff, and I actually bought a little set for Dad, to celebrate Christmas. And there's this new thing that the Lego stores are doing that I did not know about, and that is you can actually make your own miniature figure. Now, what I mean is not just by picking random parts. So here's how it works. You go to the register, and you ask them for a minifigure set like this. It costs around like $11.99 for me. And what you do is there is a kiosk, like a table over there with a computer monitor, and you put this barcode on the bottom of it. And then you start to customize the chest area of the Lego person. Like, what is the Lego person wearing? What stickers do you want to put on there? What drawings? And then afterwards, there is a printer that prints out the designs of the miniature figure that you made. And they would actually call out and give you the chest piece of, the minifigure. And then from there, you would go to the little trays where you get the head, the hair, the legs, and one accessory, because they had one accessory. So, with that in mind, I decided to do this. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. Okay. I had it a minute ago. Yeah, right there. Right there, you webcam dingus. There we go. So that's the minifigure I made. Now, before you make the customizations, you have to put in a name. And there was a certain name that Billy and Sean loved to call me back in the day, and they still do it now. And, I figured just this once, I'll humor them. So, I decided to go with this name. If the camera can focus. God, messing with the autofocus is such a pain. Maybe if I cover my face. Yeah, focus on this, you Dingus. So yeah, I went with Stevie Wonder. And Billy and Sean love calling me that. I find it annoying as heck, but they're my best friends, so I tolerate it. And the other thing they did, so what I did was I did like a white jacket. And in terms of like the stickers I put in there are like the little tie. That tie is actually not part of the preset. And the other thing was there's a little sticker on the left, I believe, yeah, that says turkey time. And this is kind of like a joke between me and Billy, where Billy just loves calling me turkey. Like, I'm not sure where he got the idea of turkey from. It just stuck with me and Billy. Like, turkey was our thing. So I decided, you know what, why not? I'll just put turkey time. And then on the back, you can do designs on the back as well, where it's like, great stuff, turkey time. Hey, Eltic Sims, good to see you. How's your weekend going so far, Eltic? Anything in particular happen? So on the back of this, there is a red Lego brick. Now, this may seem random to some, but it's actually symbolic to the power brick in Lego Island. A very old, probably like one of the first Lego computer games there ever was, and the first Lego video game, computer game I ever played. So that red brick right there is symbolic to the power brick, which is centerpiece to all of Lego Island. So there we go. Yeah, like that. And then the magnifying glass I just chose because, hey, I have strong attention to detail. Why not? So everything was set. Everything was going fine. I humored them by naming the minifigure Stevie Wonder, which was great until the time came to pick up my mini piece. So what happens is when the minifigure customization is ready, the employee actually turns around and says the name that was listed. So I'm walking around the store, just enjoying nostalgia out of my childhood. Then in the distance, I hear someone say, Stevie Wonder. And I was like, ugh. Billy and Sean were getting a kick out of it. They were laughing. And I was like, why? And the employee was like, sorry, it's what I gotta do. I gotta call out the name as I see it. I was like, oh no, it's fine. It's fine. It's not your fault. You're just doing your job. I was like, I'm never gonna hear the end of it. Like, Billy and Sean are never gonna let that go. Like, someone actually calling me Stevie Wonder. Just like the minifigure right here. They were having a heck of a chuckle at my expense. But you know what? Despite that embarrassment, it was worth it. Because, it's getting the three amigos again. It was getting like a lot of the old gang back together again. And it really did feel like old times, aside from me needing to socialize a little bit more. It really felt like the good old days where it's like, three of us are chatting and, Billy and Sean are going to be talking a little bit more. So, yeah, it's a mission accomplished on that. So, I've been focusing so much on what happening on Saturday that I completely forgot to mention what happened on Sunday. So, Sunday was the baby extravaganza with Amanda and Fred. It's going to take me a while to remember that. So, here's the thing. We actually had the assignment of we had this idea of we had to dress up as Safari theme because Safari was the theme of the party. And what happened was the majority of the others wore these leotards, per se. There was these leopard leotards or animal-themed clothing and stuff. But what happened was, me and Mom were trying to be creative, and so we went to Bass Pro before the trip, and we actually put up a safari hunter outfit, because we figured, hey, safari hunters, why not? So what happens is we're the only ones dressing up in a full safari hunter outfit. We stood out like a sore thumb. Everyone else was dressed in animal leotards. We're the safari hunters. Like, whoa. Well, this is certainly awkward. Everyone was dressing up in animal clothing, and me and Mom were like the hunters of the group. I was like, hi. Hello. No trouble here whatsoever, I assure you. It was kind of funny, looking back at it, like, we're the only hunters there. It's like, imagine, like, there was a safari party with just animals, and a couple safari hunters were in. Everyone just stops and looks at them. It was like, oh, God, it's them. And the safari hunter's like, hey, how's it going? We're here for the party. So, the extravaganza continues. And what happens is that there's this game, per se, where me, Mom, and several others, including Fred, participated. And there was these baby bottles, the bottles with the little binky thing on top. You probably remember what that is. So, what happens is there's this contest of who can drink the whole baby bottle the fastest. And they were ready to go. And the thing is, like, you'd think that drinking from a baby bottle would be easy, but no, it's not. It was a struggle just to get the liquid from the daggone bottle with the pacifier. And you couldn't cheat either. You couldn't even twist the cap and just drink it that way. No, you had to drink it from the binky. You had to drink it from the bottle, unopened, with the little binky thing on top. And it was a struggle to figure out how the dang thing worked. But when I did get to work and I started drinking little bits of it, I was like, oh God, what am I drinking? Oh! It was the point where I was literally begging other people to finish first. Like, please finish your drink faster so I don't have to drink this anymore. Please. It was like, eventually someone did, but it felt like an eternity. I was like, oh God, what did I do to deserve this? And there was like a photographer there taking pictures of my distorted face, like, and like the photographer was coming and getting pictures of me, and I almost wanted to say, you better have gotten my good side. I swear to God, you better have gotten my good side on that one. You gotta take a picture of me doing that. But it was so bad. Later it was revealed to be cranberry juice, but I still thought it was bad. Ugh. Thankfully, there was some dinner there as well to help wash it down. And some lemonade too. And overall, it was a really nice, extravagant party. Because remember, very expensive taste. So it was very nice, to see Amanda and meet Fred for the first time. But I've known Amanda Carter for like 9 years. God, that's such a long time. And we've been really good friends, have a common goal of supporting autism and stuff like that. Celtic Sim says, hey, brother, you're doing great. Would love for you to join us. Work reference? Okay, not sure what that's about. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about, but I'll figure that out later. So, the party's over, and, me and Mom are flying back to Maryland. And, no, we're flying back to Colorado. So, what what happens back in Colorado, and this is why I kind of held off on the Mediterranean diet update, is that I get on the weight thing, like the next morning, I believe, and it showed that, you know, like before I gone to the trip, I was like 207, cool, lost another pound, but when I went on the weight scale the next morning, it went from like 207 to all the way up to like 218. And that's with clothing on, mind you, so you gotta add the extra weight. I was like, what? How did I gain 10 pounds in like a few days? That doesn't even seem possible. Because like, it was like just 2 or 3 days, no, 3 days. It was like 3 days off the diet routine, and I'd gained 10 pounds. That scared me. That terrified me. I was like, how did I gain so much weight so fast? So I was doing some research, and what happened was it wasn't fat buildup, but more like it was water weight again. It was water weight and fluid retention, which usually happens when you're eating a lot in, you know, a short span of time, like a few days. And because of the fact there's so much food in the stomach, it's taking longer to, you know, digest it all. And there's also, like, again, the fluid retention. So I had to spend the whole week getting all that water weight down. Thankfully, I'm back down to, like, you know, 209-ish. But that really scared me, you know. That was like a bit of a wake-up call to remind me that, you know, even after I get to the goal of my diet, even after I get to like 170, things cannot go back to what they were before. I can't go back to, like, you know, eating out all the time, having 3 meals a day and stuff like that. Child 101, no, I did not break another couch. We already talked about this during the giveaway live stream, okay? I did not break any chairs whatsoever. I got this brand new chair right here, and I did not break it. I built it myself, so I don't want to hear it from you, Child 101. I don't want to hear it. By the way, did you get your tiny dragon? I forgot to get you the tracking stuff. It was definitely a wake-up call that even after I get to my goal of 170, things cannot go back to what they were before. Things have to change. So, it's just a reminder, you know, this is not a... I did not break the other chair! No! See, you see, I was going to talk about my diet, but no. I'm going to show you the chair. Hold on. This is the chair I used before getting this new one. It is not broken. It is perfectly fine. Anyway, as I was saying, so, what was it? Yeah. So, like, the Mediterranean diet I'm on, it is not a temporary thing. It's like, oh, once you get to this, you're done. No. This is a lifestyle change. Child 101, I swear, do not jinx this for me. Anyway, it's like things cannot go back to what they were before. I can't do, like, oh, sweets all the time, or like 3 meals a day, or these big giant meals at one time. You know, things can't go back to that. And, you know, while it's great to get all that water weight off and get back to, like, you know, losing weight, it was scary. I was legitimately scared. Like, if those 3 days threw me off that much, like, how am I going to get through, like, we have Thanksgiving coming up. That's not going to be too much of an issue, hopefully, because, like, I don't usually eat that much during Thanksgiving. But there's also, like, the 24th. Like, am I going to stick to the diet? Am I going to, do something to treat myself? There's also, like, my birthday. Because, like, on my birthday, like, I'm going to want pizza. And I'm going to want cake. Although, Mom and I had decided to try keto cake for the first time. So, maybe that'll make a difference. But it's like, thinking about, how moments like those can make you gain that much, even if it's water weight, even if it's water weight, it's still scary to think about, so it's all the more of a reminder that, this is not just a temporary thing. The Mediterranean diet is a lifestyle change. I cannot emphasize this enough. So that is the full story of my trip to Colorado. It was a lot of fun. It was really great seeing my old friends again after so many years. Getting the gang back together, it was a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll do better in, being more social with them and or being as social as I used to be before with them. And, just hanging out with them more. Even if it is online, like, playing some online games and stuff, I still want to make time for the two of them. They're my best friends in the whole wide world. Why wouldn't I make time for them, So, okay. I think we've gone on more than long enough. But since you people are here, I will mention to you next Friday starting at noon to 2 p.m. Mountain Time, is the birthday live stream, where if we get 10 more subscribers, it adds another hour. 10 more subscribers get you another hour, etc., etc. If you want more details on that, check out the YouTube short that I just posted this morning, which will go over the details of the birthday live stream. And there'll be more on next Friday at noon when the stream starts. And hopefully I have a special surprise for you. That's hopefully if I could get it done in time, because I need to export the wedding video I did a while back after this, so that's going to take a while. I need to edit the surprise, and I don't know whether or not I'm going to get the next autism video ready in time. I'm going to try my best, because the next video is autism video about autism and masking. I'm going to try my best to get that autism video ready for next Saturday. If not, I'm going to have to push it back another week, Like, I'm trying to do all these amazing things. It's just like, and, it's like just finding the time to make your visions a reality. And sometimes that means you got to push other things back. Sometimes you got to make arrangements in your schedule, What if somebody creates a ton of different accounts to sub 20? Was that 20 or 200? I seriously hope not. I really hope that no one is going to go out of their way to make different accounts. Because what happens is, that I noticed is a lot of inactive accounts automatically get terminated. Like, if the account's like not watching or engaging or not posting anything, they actually get removed by YouTube. And when that happens, the subscriber count goes down. And I've actually seen this myself, because a few months ago, there was a very big decrease in subscribers on the Toastamac YouTube channel. I was trying to figure out, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? It turns out a lot of the subscriber drop had to do with inactive accounts. When those inactive accounts goes away, the subscriber count goes down. So I really hope that they're not making a bunch of accounts to sub and whatnot. I really want to focus on organic growth, where actual people are coming into... Sorry, we're making homemade hot sauce. Okay, hope you don't set the house on fire while you're at it. But yeah, Eltic Sims, if you can, why don't you email me at toastamac@gmail.com, because I'm not sure what you mentioned earlier about like work reference, contact me. Not sure what that's all about. So if you kind of elaborate on that a little bit more, that'd be great. So shoot, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So really, I want organic growth on the YouTube channel. I want actual people coming into the YouTube channel and, really enjoying the content I put out there, That is like the biggest sign of growth, that people are coming into the channel and enjoying the content. That's ultimately what I really want, So, yeah. So I'm going to work on the special surprise this weekend. Hopefully I can get it ready for the live stream, because I want to show that special surprise first thing when the birthday live stream starts. So the people that are here right now, be sure to get here at noon next Friday. Not 12:30, not 1, noon. Otherwise you're going to miss the big surprise. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream here. Thank you to all the people that were showing up. It's great as always to see you here. I hope you're having a good time. And of course, if you're not subscribed already, consider subscribing to Toastamac and click at the bell icon to stay up to date in our latest videos. It looks like we got a new subscriber just a couple hours ago, Braden Bear. Nice, awesome. Well, if Braden Bear actually shows up, you'll get to choose a video game I get to play. Have a good night, Sharon Starkey. Nice. Yeah, mark it on your calendars. November 24th, that is a Friday, noon Mountain Time to 2 p.m. Unless we get 10 more subscribers, then we extend the stream. All right? So, hope you look forward to that. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And until the next video or live stream, see you later. And no, I do not plan on breaking any more couches, Child 101.